Alright, so here we have the third match of the second round of the 1v1 tournament. They're using 38k, Force Nothing is the map, which is why Always is starting so close to the edge. We have a matchup between Always and Coke, number 2 versus number 6. Always is number 6, Coke is number 2. So just as a quick reminder, I did the seeding based off of their unranked elo on AoE2net at the time that I did the brackets. Now, a better player could have a lower elo by playing like CBAs or any other random map, while some players play nothing but Force Nothing, so they have better elo because of it. We'll see if that matters. Always and Coke are both very good players. Always has chosen Slavs. Coke has chosen Malay. Slavs are one of my favorite civilizations because of their cheap siege. Their unique tech Truzina makes their infantry nearly unstoppable. Their military buildings give them +5 population. And then Malay have faster up times, so you could pop out an extra villager or two and still age up at the same time. They have a unique tech to make infinite two-handed swordsmen. And they get bombard cannons, which if microed correctly, you can use to snipe all of the siege for the Slavs, while your two-handed swordsmen just keep pushing. So, both civs are decent. Bombard cannons are expensive, but if you are only using gold on bombard cannons and scorpions, then you might be able to pull out a win versus a stronger siege civ like Slavs. We're going to speed up a little bit. Each person is probably going to get between 15 and 20 villagers before going to feudal age. Let me adjust there. So you see villager count. Coke has one more villager, or basically half. And that was instant uptime. Builder's market, builder's blacksmith. Market and a blacksmith. Because once you get both buildings up, you can delete them and then just wait for the resources. You don't have to have them up while the resources are... while you have accumulated the resources. Coke is now on his way to Castle Age. Going for a second town center. Double bit axe. Always hits castle, goes with the second town center. And Always is building a third town center. Coke is building a third town center. Got housed for a little bit there. So these two are essentially even. Coke currently has a little bit of a lead on villagers, if he keeps them all producing. Now they're tied. Always just got housed at 35. So you can see how these two, they built their buildings differently. but it's essentially the same result. They each have 44, 45 villagers. Their wood count's near exactly the same. So at this point, they're waiting for 10, 12,000 wood. And that'll get them enough wood to sell to get their gold for Imperial Age, an onager or two, and the onager upgrade. Smart, building the houses on the edge of the map if you're that close. So one thing Slavs do not get is the guilds upgrade for the market. But with the cheaper siege, that's not a huge problem. And Coke is clicked up to Imp first with 65 villagers, giving Always a lead of 12, 13, and Always is on his way up. Always has 3 mangonels, but not enough gold. There we go, now he can get onager. Now each player is going to expand, build some more houses, build some more farms, and go try to kill the other player. They each have basically the same villager count again. 18 farms to 17 farms. Always built an extra town center, so he's got 4 town centers now, so he should outproduce in villager count. Looks like Always expects, or Coke expects Always to be up here. Getting his castle up so he can research infinite two-hand swordsman with only food, but to do that you need a lot of farms. You're going to need a lot of farms if you're going to try to infinite two-hand swordsman spam. Always has the lead by 20 villagers. And right now the score difference is mostly just wood that now Always just sold, so no big score difference anymore. As you can see, Always doesn't have like any military buildings up. He's got 1. The Coke's got 3. He's got village up at the front. Got 30, 40 farms. More barracks are going up. So we'll see if stronger military can help fight back from a worse position. Of course, he's going to make some light cav or something, just try to spam that into eco, kill farmers. So we're going to see a bunch of two-handed swordsmen versus halberdiers and boyars. Oh wow, this is just a flood. You need to kill those onagers. Chico doesn't like fighting in the gaps. He likes to send his military through and attack villagers and farmers, making you fight from a worse position. Always needs to get out a couple siege onagers, take out the other siege onagers, and put some scorpions in the way. A couple scorpions should be able to stop, well, not a couple, maybe like 10, 15 scorpions should be able to stop the two-handed swordsman advance. He'd be able to rebuild his farms. Right now, always is in a pretty precarious position. He goes up to 50 farms. What he needed to do was bring some bombard cannons with those two-handed swordsmen, knock down these production buildings, and then always wouldn't have had anything to fight with. Fully upgraded, fully upgraded. But the halberdiers for always will do trample damage. So while they're not as strong, they're still very strong. Look at how quickly the two-handed swordsmen are dying to halberdiers. 10 attack versus 16. Now he's getting bombard cannons out, but now you should be having scorpions. Heavy scorpions to push back the halberdiers. Yes, some bombards to kill the siege onagers, but you're going to need some heavy scorpions to protect your bombard cannons, because bombard cannons are expensive. Coke has 205, 200 max pop allowed. Always is at 250. He needs to rebuild some villagers. Well, he doesn't need to, but... Oh, he already is. He's rebuilding some villagers, building more farms. Always is in a great position right here. Coke's lost a couple of his production buildings. He needs to start making more. Like bring an onager up here, cut these trees, build like 6 more barracks. Because if you keep losing your barracks, you're not going to be able to fight. You guys see what I mean about the two-handed swordsman spam? He's got 62 farms, but he can never have that many two-handed swordsmen because they're just so costly. In order to do the two-handed swordsman spam, you're going to need like, I don't know, 70 farms, and that's just with 250 population. You need a ton of farms. The scorpions are a nice addition, but you're going to need spam in front of it. Also, you're going to need to be able to kill those siege onagers, but I don't see anything to kill the siege onagers. A lot of players that I play try to build walls in Forest Nothing, and while they can keep you safe for a little bit, as soon as the other player gets their siege onagers there, they'll just cut around it. It's kind of useless. There we go, get some more barracks out. So he's still 50 population down from what is max allowed. And he should totally max out his pop space. Always needs to come forward and build forward buildings to reinforce faster. Other than that, we're basically just seeing that Slav military is stronger than Malay. He could probably, or Coke could probably pump out some Karambit warriors real quick, but the Scorpions would eat those Karambit warriors. What you need here is a couple bombard cannons to snipe Scorpions, Onagers. You're holding really nicely because there's a couple gaps and those Scorpions will kill everything coming through the gap. But you need to kill what's beyond it. Coke is now popped. I heard a bombard cannon. And now your bombard cannon's attacking halberdiers when you need to be attacking siege. More houses going down. There we go. Got a bombard cannon attacking some Scorpions. This is the composition he needed from the beginning. He needed bombard cannons to go with his two-handed swordsman. Also, he needs to make more houses. Light cavalry for a desperation move.
Yasakuka Baginda.
And right there, all of his light cav just went down before they even got to the siege. See, right there what he said? He didn't push hard enough at the start. Malay are weak late. That's exactly what I was saying. If he had gone in with bombard cannons, with his two-handed swordsman immediately, he would have pushed, and he would have been able to kill always. Alright, so that's game one. That was a really good game. Kills, deaths. Cook had more food, but he was constantly running out because he was spamming two-handed swordsman. Faster in all ages. And it was at this point right here. If he had bombard cannons, he would have pushed in before Always had all of his buildings up, and he would have been able to fight and win. Or made it a lot closer. Alright, let's go to game two. Looks like Coke chose 7x7 for his home map. We have Teutons versus Saracens. So in 7x7, you typically build a mill and a house. Then when you get enough wood, you delete your town center, build it in this corner, which will give, if you cut these 3 trees, that'll give you 1, 2, 3 farms instantly. You cut a little more wood, replace the house with a lumber camp, and then delete both the lumber camp and the mill, and put 2 houses there. You get between 12 and 15 villagers, and then go to feudal age. That is widely accepted to be the best method for starting this map. Another thing you could do is build your lumber camp here. That way, whenever you get to the next stage, or whenever you delete your town center, you can just destroy these 2, and you never need to go without your house. But it delays how quickly you can delete your town center because you're spending the extra wood earlier. So where Coke already has his 3 farms up, he's building his town center. Always is just now getting enough wood to delete his town center. That's if he's going to do it. Alright, so Coke is clearly ahead right now. And that's because he did not build his lumber camp. So something always should have done was built his farms while he was building his town center. And the placement of that farm, well, I guess you can always just build your second house down there, but it's not what I would have done. But it's doable. So Coke has 3 more villagers. He just built his lumber camp, and now he's deleting it for 2 more houses. Gonna get a couple more villagers out before heading to feudal age. So Saracens and Teutons. Who's gonna win? In game 1, Slavs were clearly the better civ choice. Alright, let's talk about Teutons real quick. Teutons have extra melee armor on their infantry and stable units. They have a full siege workshop, minus, I think, siege ram. Yep, no siege ram, full siege workshop. They do get bombard cannons. Their Teutonic Knights are like the perfect counter to Mamelukes if the Saracen player tries to use those. Camels are essentially useless unless the Teuton player tries to go Paladin, which I highly doubt he will. Alright, now let's talk Saracens. Saracens Siege Workshop, full except for Heavy Scorpion. They have better archers, and their Mamluks are really strong, but they don't get halberdier. No halberdier. So if they try to spam trash halberdier versus pikemen, the pikemen are going to lose badly because the halberdiers for the Teuton player will have +2 on their armor, so they have a better unit, and they're just going to be stronger than the regular unit. They both get bombard cannons for sniping siege onagers. They both get siege onagers. The Saracen player doesn't get heavy scorpion. So as you can see, once you get to the number of villagers you want, you delete your houses. You push them all together for 5 farms, which is what always looks like he's about to do. Just looks like Coke's a little more experienced with this map. We have 12 villagers versus 14, and the 14 villager guy is nearly at feudal age. Just getting his 5th farm up. So let's watch what he does. Interesting. First thing he did was built 2 houses. I guess he didn't need to rush it because he saw he had time. Pop some more villagers out. Blacksmith, market. If you get housed, yep, go for wheelbarrow. Sell all your wood, buy some food. Is he going to buy some food? Well, always is on his way to the next age. There we go. Buying food. Now he's on his way to castle age. I would have bought food, destroyed my market, and got 5 to 10 more villagers, but either way it works. Always has his market and blacksmith up. He sold all of his wood. Maybe bought 100 or 200 food, but didn't have much. So he's going to go for 4 houses, maybe 20, 25 villagers before going to the next stage. Which is potentially harmful. You see, Coke doesn't really have enough room for houses to build more villagers because he didn't get 20 to 25 villagers in the feudal age. So we'll see how he plays it. So 2 town centers for Coke. So Coke has the villager lead and the age lead. So what Coke needs to do is figure out a way to plop down some more houses. I think I would cut these 2 trees right here and then build 2 houses right there. I think that's what I would do. That way I can build farm, houses. And then these 2 farms here, you can delete those 2 farms and put up 6 houses. So Coke, I mean, always looks like he's going for 25 villagers, which is what most normal people do, but whoever gets the first sale can get enough gold to buy the food to get to the next stage. So first sale on 7x7 is very important, and he had the Saracen market bonus, which means instead of 70 gold for selling the first 100 wood, he got like, I don't know, what was it, like 76, 80, I don't know. It's just more. First sale, if you're the Saracen player, is huge. Okay, it looks like Always decided to stop at 22 villagers. So 22 villagers versus 29. Let's look at their camp sizes. I'd say Coke has a slightly bigger camp. Those house placements are just, in my opinion, awful. If you deleted these 2 farms, built them out, you could put a farm here, a farm here, a farm here. So that would actually give you +1 farms. Always is now in Castle Age, but he doesn't have the room to build a second town center because he was focused on getting extra room for farms. So we have a 16 villager lead for Coke. And Coke lost game 1, so he desperately needs to win this if he wants to stay alive in the tournament. Coke is going to opt for a 3rd town center. And that is something you can do when you have the lead. Personally, I would have just kept my second town center and started pushing. Try to get to Imp, build 2 or 3 more town centers in Imp. But if you have the lead and you know it, nothing wrong with that. Always is at 2 town centers. Down by 15, 16 villagers. Alright, my apologies for not speeding up a little bit through any of these parts so far. So, Coke has the wood he needs to sell to get to Imp and a couple onagers out, but he doesn't have the food. So because he built that 3rd town center, he doesn't have the food that he needs to get to the next age, because he's been using it to create villagers. Always just has so many less villagers that he doesn't have the space to build things. Got enough room for a farm there. 1 more tree for another farm there. He only needs... Like, if he stopped producing out of his town centers for, like, 2 minutes, Coke would have the food he needs to get to the next age. Which is exactly what Always is going to do. So despite having about half the villagers that Coke does, looks to me like Always is going to get to the Imperial Age first. So this is where being behind but getting to Imperial Age first, you should build an extra like 3-4 town centers as soon as possible. Boom as much as you possibly can. Not as much as you possibly can, but boom a lot. And try to get your way nearing the same villager count, because the Saracen players are at the better market. He's got more villager, more resources, which means more gold. So if Always wants to win this one, he's going to need to boom quickly. Why is it not working? I lost all controls. I can't switch back and forth between the players. Can't slow it down either. Is this normal? Okay, well, we're going to be watching this game through Coke Diet's perspective. And we're not going to see anything that Always has. So Coke got 2 villagers trapped. Always hate it when that happens. Villagers are stupid. Stupid peasants. Got a decent number of farms. Oh, that's not going to be accurate either. What even is this? Alright, so Mamluks, that's something that I probably wouldn't do, because if they bring out any Teutonic Knights, they're useless. Oh, I can't see upgrades either. Oh, we're nearly at the fighting. I don't want to stop it. Alright, so we're going to have no information on anything moving forward, but we'll be able to see who wins. I'll restart my game after this. So typically, after you buy enough stone for a castle, you have an extra 50 stone left over, and I would be building outposts along the way, but a trebuchet is essentially a mobile outpost. It has like the same line of sight. If I recall correctly, always was like right here. So he needs to bring his trebuchet the whole way to this corner. Maybe he'll be able to see him. Looks to me like he's trying to do a quick rush. He needs to build more houses. He has a nice number of farms. There he is. Teutonic Knights. You're going to want to run right past those, because Teutonic Knights will kill absolutely everything that you have. So he sees them. Mamluks, very strong versus halberdiers. He's not going for the siege, he's going for the economy. Champions, probably the closest thing he has to something that can fight Teutonic Knights. Light Cav for the siege. And Light Cav for the economy. What he needs to do is bring more villagers, and there we go. Make that entire area production buildings. Light Cav needs to start attacking the bombard cannons, not just running past it. But this is good too. So here's where we see pikemen versus halberdiers. So if the production buildings go down, it's going to give his light cav basically a clear route to always his economy. Keep sending in champions to fight the halberdiers. Knock down the production buildings, and it looks like I said leave map. Okay, it looks like always called GG. So just gonna go ahead and restart the game real quick because that was unfortunate. So this is the first game 3 for either tournament, which is extremely exciting. So I guess while I wait for that, I'm gonna bring up the brackets. Okay. So I'm still waiting on these two to play, Bobozo and Ethan. If you remember, Bobozo beat Vegeta playing Huns versus Khmer, and Ethan beat Amerikaner. Oh, always is number 7, my bad. So, number 2 versus number 7 right here. This will play the winner. The winner of the current match will play Alistair. And then the winner of Ethan Bobozo will play me. Alright, got the game back up. Game 3. What is this? Oh, I think I need to be more clear sometimes. You can't play 38k twice. So I guess always pick 38k as his home map, but you can't pick the starting map as your home map. So, whatever. We'll see who wins. So right now we have Vietnamese versus Koreans. I think Koreans is the stronger of the two civs. They have Siege Onager. Their Siege Onager gets extra range. But Vietnamese do get elephants. They both get bombard cannons. War wagons are extremely expensive. So this is basically going to be the same as game 1. They're going to get 15 to 20-ish villagers. Go to feudal age. Build a market, build a blacksmith. Go to castle age. Build 2 or 3 town centers. Get 12,000 wood. 12,000 wood gets you to Imperial Age, plus the Onager upgrade and a couple Onagers. And then they're going to start cutting and fighting. Yep, it says fast speed right there at the top. Looks like Coke got first sale, which doesn't matter as much on this map because you don't have as much wood to sell as you do on 7x7. So near identical times to feudal, near identical times to castle. Second town center to 3 town centers. 3 town centers, 3 town centers. Villager difference is at 2, 1. It's a very small difference with constant villager production. Always got housed, so there might be a permanent 3 villager lead for Coke, unless Coke gets housed. So the difference in this right now, Coke knows exactly where to go, and always doesn't. Most people automatically assume that their opponent is opposite them, so always might go this way. And if he goes that way, then Coke can cut in and go straight to the eco, which would be potentially devastating. Always is on his way to Imp. Coke is about to be on his way to Imp. Always has 2 mangonels, just waiting for the food to research Onager. Onager's on the way. Coke is researching Onager and already has his 3 out. So, right now, they're essentially doing the exact same thing. But this might just come down to whose military is stronger. Coke remembers what happened in Game 1 and doesn't want to get housed. Smart. Build all those houses. Also a choke point that if they get there, they have to go through the houses to get to his economy. Always is expanding, building more farms. Now we get Blacksmith University Castle. Getting your upgrades. Now, I'm going to slow that down. I don't think they get full upgrades for their infantry. Vietnamese do not get Blast Furnace. And neither do Koreans. Okay. Go a little bit faster, but looks like they're about to start fighting. Here we've got 40 farms for Coke, 35-ish for Always, but we have 8+1 on his Siege Onager, and he has Siege Onager. Siege Onager, Bombard Cannon. Eight plus 1, 8+2. So not only does he have Siege Onager instead of Onager, he's got +2, and now he can see the Coke is coming. So instead of expanding the wrong way, potentially, which is what it looked like he was going to do, now he's just going to fortify what he has, and maybe cut a little bit more. In this position, I'm going to heavily favor the Koreans. They have better siege. That's basically it. Siege wins games and Force nothing. It's very hard to win if you have the weaker Siege Civ. If you're evenly matched players, normally the stronger Siege Civ will win. So a good thing to do would be to get your Bombard Cannons up and start sniping Siege Onagers before he connects. Because currently Coke has no infantry out. He does have some Rattan archers though. There go basically all of the archers. Right, sorry. I've heard T90 refer to this as the Korean Death Ball. War wagons are killed by skirmishers pretty easily. Vietnamese get Imperial skirmishers, which are very strong. What you need to do is take your Bombard Cannons, snipe those Siege Onagers. Because your Bombard Cannons are dying, and if your Bombard Cannons die, you have nothing left to fight with. Or you have nothing to snipe the Onagers. $57 farms for Coke. Always still with 35. But Always is pushing. Elephants would be a pretty decent play since there's very few halberdiers out. Oh, then all the halberdiers went straight for the elephants. And he upgraded to Elite Elephant. So Always knows, or Coke knows exactly where Always started. At this point, you basically just need to spam and keep them occupied. Take an onager from here, go straight through and attack the economy. That's the only way I see this going well for Coke. Wow, what is this lag? Okay, so just something that you guys might find amusing. Coke, once again, has less than maximum population. Always has more pop allowed. He just needs more production buildings to be able to produce to get to max. Always is from South Korea, and he's playing as the Koreans, so that's always fun. Look at all the extra space you have. Push your lumber camps up and build 10 more houses. Get to max pop. Come on. Rattan archers are good versus other archers. I don't know how good they'd be versus war wagons. The elephants are very, very costly on food and gold, so I'm not sure how many elephants he's going to be able to make. And he's going to need to send those elephants straight for the siege. Or use your bombard cannons to snipe the siege. Always is starting to make more barracks. Which is one of the things that I thought he should have done a little bit sooner. Make more production buildings. So it looks to me like Always is just a little bit slower on the starts. But he's chosen 3 strong civs where Coke hasn't. Vietnamese does give you a good bonus, but I would only choose Vietnamese if I had a very strong teammate playing as something else. Because this is just, you can't really stop that as Vietnamese. And Coke recognizes that. Here we go. Coke calls good game because he realizes he can't beat the composition that the Koreans are able to put out. Always kills 200 of his own units, as well as 500 of Coke's. Coke calls GG, so the number 2 is now out of the tournament. First time we've seen 3 games, and that was a good match. Really good match.